now we're going to get into shuffling more, controlling more than one card. Like if you had a stack of 4 aces on top of the deck and you want to keep them controlled either to the top or to the bottom, you do have complete control within that. So we're using the methods we already taught. So I'm going to go over them very briefly. Overhand shuffle. If you want to control the top 4 cards, you would just take a stack a little bit larger than 4 cards from the first get, okay? And then you would in-jog 1 card and then continue shuffling off the rest of the cards. Then you meet up with that break like we discussed earlier, and then you shuffle to that break and you have controlled your 4 aces to the top. If you wanted to use an overhand shuffle and bring those aces to the bottom, you would simply run 4 cards at first, singly, and then you would do a regular overhand shuffle on top of that. No jog, no nothing, and now you have the aces on the bottom of the deck. To bring them back up to the top, it's just as easy. You would do a normal overhand shuffle until you get roughly to about 10 cards or 8 cards, something like that. Then you start singly running them off until you get to the last card. And then you've controlled your aces back up to the top. Now this is also doable with your Hindu shuffle. Okay, so you would do the same thing. You would take off just more than 4 cards at first, and then you would get your little break like we talked about before, and you keep on shuffling until you meet up with that break, put the rest on top of the deck, and you've controlled your 4 aces. No problem. Okay, and if those aces were on the bottom, same thing. As the Hindu shuffle, you would pull out a stack from the middle that's less than 4 cards, more than 4 cards down here. You don't want to get mixed up here. So you take 4 cards off like that, and then you would just simply drop the rest in your palm, shuffle off to the middle, and you still got your 4 aces on the bottom. Okay? So again, you're going to take the cards from the middle, okay, let them drop like that, close them up together, and then just do a regular Hindu shuffle on top of them, and you've controlled your 4 without them knowing. Okay? And now we're going to get into your table shuffles. Okay, more table stuff and ways to control it. Okay, so first thing is first, the table shuffle looks something like this. Actually, I'm going to get an older deck of cards for this. Your regular table shuffle will look something like this. That's your regular table shuffle. Very simple to do. You basically hold the deck just like this. You grab half from the bottom. Oh, where'd that come from? You grab half from the bottom with your right hand, and then you just kind of square them up a little bit, and then slowly, 1 card at a time, mesh them together. Okay, that's a really good table, and then you can finish it off with a couple table cuts, which is basically taking packets with your left hand from your right hand, putting them onto the table, and then finishing it off like that, and then always finish with a normal table cut. Sometimes in poker, you would cut, and then you have the other person complete the cut for you. But for now, I'm going to teach you a way to control the top card. Okay? So you do your normal overhand shuffle, but you know that the top card you want to retain is over here, so the last one you want to put down is the card from your left hand. Put them together real quick. You can do that again as many times as you like, as long as that card is the one that goes on top, the one from your left hand. Okay, and then you've controlled that card the entire time. Same rules apply if you want to control the bottom card. Okay, you split them in half like that, and just make sure that the right hand goes down first. Okay, again, we'll just give them another shuffle. I don't have a great surface to work with here because I don't have a felt table, but if you do have a felt table, that's great because it's a lot easier to work with table cuts and stuff to that effect. Okay, so then that card, as long as you let that right hand pack it, because the right hand's grabbing the stuff from the bottom, so as long as that right hand goes down first, you shuffle like normal, and you are controlling that card. And once you have it on the bottom, controlled there, you can always give it a quick shuffle overhand, bring it up to the top, or you can bring it to the bottom using a Hindu shuffle. You can bring it to the bottom using overhand. You could retain it on the bottom by using a Hindu shuffle, and it's still under complete control. Okay, so table cuts, table shuffle, you know, the running cuts, very nice thing to do. You know what I mean? Doesn't control anything. I wouldn't suggest trying to make it controllable. These are legitimate cuts. If the spectator has chosen their card and you have time because they're passing around the room to show everybody, it's really good to just do a few of these. Unless you have, of course, your deck stacked in a certain way. These are very pretty looking cuts. This is what they use in the casino, and it'll show everyone that's around you that you are not just an amateur, you are a professional card man. Looks very cool. Looks very cool. A bit messy, but you clean it up really easy just like that, and it's done.
When you lie, you will never need to recognize yourself, to deceive, to remove all chance of...
I like to faro shuffle, which is this here. There's no real easy method of doing the faro shuffle. It's a very, very complex move, and it'll take you hours of practice. But I want to get into it real quick now. Now, if you wanted to control any cards with the faro shuffle, if you wanted to control the top card, okay, all you have to do when you split the deck is just make sure that that top card isn't going to be in the middle of the deck. Just make sure that it is somewhere on the outside, and you bring them all together like that. What I do is I split the cards, I hold them like this in my left hand, okay, just like this, and I'll take it and I'll cut half with my right thumb, bring them up like that, and then weave them together. Once you get the first card going, it's not hard to get the rest of them going. Okay, and then once they're weaved, you'll see that they are completely single card weaves. Okay, you can even do a little fan like that, which we'll get into later. And they are all completely weaved, one card at a time. Okay, so you want to split them. I'm not gonna like really go into teaching this like crazy because it's a knacky thing. You will get it with practice. You just have to keep practicing. It's not easy to do with an older deck, but it is easy to do with a newer deck because they will weave and they're a lot smoother. And then you just push it together with both hands. You could even push it together with one hand. You don't even need your hand down here to catch it. You could just go like that, and it kind of catches them all for you in one hand.
Your lie, the deception is complete when you can see and decide to...
The cards want to, once one card's in there, the cards want to go ahead and mesh together. So that's your standard faro shuffle. And you can make that fake using the same principles that we talked about with your overhand shuffle and your Hindu shuffle. Just make sure that the card you want is going to stay where you want. Okay, do them slow, think about it, think about where you want to put them, and everything like that. Not sure what we're going to get into next, but it'll most likely be the glide. Glide is a great tool. I don't use it too often, but if you want to force a spectator a card, it's a very easy way to do it. Or if you want to force 5 spectators a certain card, and it's a very easy thing to do. So it's up to you. If you want to get them to force 4 aces, it's all good. We'll get into that. We'll get into that next time. But for now,
Reject your lives, sacrifice to me, and get the of yourself.